What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into the Week 13 edition of the Sunday Sideline Report here on the SIN YouTube channel. Mike and the old ops guy with you. Hopefully, everybody had a phenomenal Thanksgiving. Mark, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. Thank you very much for asking, Mike. It was absolutely delicious the day after and yesterday. 20 pounds of bird, takes a little bit to eat. Before we get into everything, we here at the Sports Insanity Network want to wish our prayers and hope for the families over in Hong Kong having to deal with the horrible fire incident that transpired.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers with everybody involved. But we've got a lot to go over. We had the three games from Thanksgiving Thanksgiving Day. Let's call it there. I gotta ask you because you and I are still old enough to remember there were two games on Thanksgiving.
Yes. Yes.
Your thoughts on the third, not the games that took place this week, because we'll get into those. But your thoughts on them adding the third game?
You know, I guess you're trying to garner more ratings and bring in as much as possible because you're trying to figure there are people who eat during the 1 o'clock game and then fall asleep. There are people who eat during the 4 o'clock game and watch the game. You know, then you got to get the people who wake up and might just want something extra. So I kind of enjoyed this game this year. Last year, the year before, I kind of could have done without it.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, all three games were very good and worth watching and had a storyline. So, and and let's be honest, all three games had playoff implications.
Oh yeah.
And so we'll dive in there. Let's start with the first one, a battle in the NFC North, which saw Patchy's Packers defeat the Detroit Lions by a score of 31-24. Jordan Love, I'll give you this, Jordan Love. You had a good one. You had a nice
Oh,
Thanksgiving. He threw for 4 touchdowns along with 234 yards, 2 touchdowns to Tavion Wicks. And your guy, Micah Parsons, had another 2.5 sack a day.
great day for Micah.
Jared Goff, 20-26, 256 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jamison Williams, 7 catches, a buck 44, and a touchdown. And let's start with the Packers because we'll also get into the Black Friday game too. But the Packers now sit, Mark, at a record of 8-3-1. And I think when we have the conversations of top teams in the league, we don't talk about the Packers a lot. And I think it has to do with the inconsistencies of Jordan Love.
I don't disagree with you there. Look, the Packers are where they are because the team they are. They're a good defense. To me, their offense is kind of unknown. Okay. Yes, you got Josh Jacobs running the ball. Jordan Love is backed up every critic and has come out and played week by week by week and has done very well. My problem with the Packers isn't the running game. I think their running game is probably one of the most solid things they have. The receivers are not one, two, and threes. There's no one on this team. I
Mm-hmm.
don't call Christian Watson a one. Sorry.
Nope,
I
I
don't
agree with
call
you.
Date. I don't call Dontavian Wicks a one. To be clearly honest, I really didn't know much about him until Thanksgiving. I had to really look into him by then. And you got Romeo Doubs. This is a team of receivers that are two, threes, and fours, and on their number two tight end because you lost Tyler Kraft to the ACL tear.
Tucker
So
Craft.
Tucker Kraft, sorry, my bad. Thank you for the correction, Mike.
No problem.
Um, so to me, it's a hodgepodge in that offense. It's getting it done. There's no doubt about it. You can tell that by the record. And it's, to me, the defense that's giving the offense the opportunities. Because if you look at Jordan Love, the number to me that sticks out is 234 yards. He's not having to put up the ball lately 45, 50 times. That's a comfortable throwing position. 30 passes for 234 yards, but you get four touchdowns out of it. That means mostly you're getting the ball started on your side of the field most times.
He's a fit. He was efficient on Sunday, 18 of 30. I'm with you. I don't love the group of receivers. I don't think there is a one there. I love Josh Jacobs. I think Josh Jacobs is not only one of the best running backs in the league, I think he's also a little underrated because he spent so much time with the Raiders. I know the Packers are going to go as far as this defense can kind of carry them. But Jordan Love can't be a passenger. He has to be the guy in charge. You know, we get on certain guys who we don't define as kind of a leader. I and nowadays you need your quarterback to not just be good and play efficient. You need a quarterback who can be the guy. And this is not a knock on Jordan Love. Jordan Love was drafted after Aaron Rodgers won an MVP award. Albeit Aaron Rodgers didn't win another Super Bowl, but he was still at the top of the heap in terms of playmakers. If Jordan Love can find a way to help this team get to a Super Bowl, then it's all made worth it. But right now, he's got to find that consistent play. And I'll be honest with you, I thought that game against the Lions was his best game as a professional.
It ranks up there, and I don't disagree with you. To come out there on one of the biggest games of the year, not only division playoff race wise, on stage, prime America stage wise,
Yeah.
and to go into Detroit and win is just a statement in and of itself. The Packers won the first game against Detroit, and they came out and did the same thing against the second. Flipping it over to Detroit quickly, when you talk about efficiency, Jared Goff was beyond efficient. 2026, 256 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
The problem for Detroit was the loss of Amon St. Brown to the very high ankle sprain right in the beginning of the first quarter. And yes, we say that one person can't change, one person isn't the team. But when you take the one guy that draws your top cornerback away and frees up someone like Jameson Williams out of the game, it makes the game all that much harder.
And the line and the Lions offensive line has become a problem. This was the best offensive line in football. And injuries and retirement of Frank Ragnow Listen, they tried to get Frank Ragnow to come out of retirement. He can't because he failed his physical due to some hamstring issue. But the offensive line has struggled, and the defense has struggled again, particularly on the back end. So they're sitting at 7-5. They're still in the thick of things in the NFC, but they got a massive game. Actually, both these teams have a massive game next week. The Lions on Thursday night will go to Dallas, and the Packers twice in the next 3 weeks are going to play the Chicago Bears.
Yeah. And that could be your division decision
Yeah,
right there.
that is insane. And so the Packers get the win 31-24. Then the second game, which saw the Cowboys beat the Chiefs 31-28. I want to say this though before we get into it. The early games, I didn't watch the late game halftime show, but the first two games, the halftime shows, fantastic.
They were not bad. I love the fact that Eminem came out, in the first game. And
Eminem and Jack White in Detroit and Post Malone in Dallas was fine.
yeah,
All right. Cowboys beat the Chiefs 31-28. Dak was 27-39, 320, 2 touchdowns and a pick. CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches, 112 yards and a touchdown. Flip side at KC, Patrick Mahomes was 23 of 34, 261 and 4 touchdowns, 2 of which went to Rashee Rice, who had 8 catches, 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. Before we dive into the game, I do want to say one thing. I never, and I mean this, to the people at CBS, I hope you're listening. I never want to hear Tony Romo do a Cowboy game again from a broadcasting perspective. I don't.
am I allowed to ask why?
Because I don't want to hear the whole game. Everybody's playing great. I don't look. I'll be honest with you. I have this was a phenomenal game, and him saying the same thing over and over again, which I get is kind of a broadcaster's job, but I don't need to hear everybody's playing great the whole game. Like, there's a ball. I don't know if you remember the play. I think it was first. I think it was second quarter. Dak throws the ball, and Pickens has to look into the sun.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the glare, and then he starts talking about everybody's playing great. It just say Dak underthrew him a little bit. Just say that's all I want you to say. And by the way, Dak played better on Thanksgiving than Romo probably ever did on Thanksgiving.
Romo played in a few good games on Thanksgiving. So
It's not like every year they played the Redskins.
well, that's pretty much what it was, for like a few years in a row. A wise friend told me when you have something going, just go with it. So when Dallas beat Philadelphia, we had talked midway. I had talked midway. Dallas then has moved on and has retaken Iwo Jima. And as they are America's team, we have now taken Iwo Jima, which represented the Kansas City Chiefs. Now on to a tougher challenge, however, has gotten a little bit easier. Amon-Ra St. Brown will most likely miss this game. And for those of you who don't know, that is this would have been a game where you could expect Amon St. Brown to go for 200 yards easily. With the
Yeah,
loss of
go ahead.
with the loss of Amon St. Brown, the loss of Sam Laporta, this offense has taken a huge, huge hit. Now you've lost your number one receiver, you've lost your number one tight end. Now you got to lean more on your number two wide receiver, and now you got to lean even more on that running back capability. For Dallas, this is Okinawa. This is what this is. This is a Dallas wins here, and I have to give it the Dallas passing game, giving up 4 touchdowns. Come on, it's got to change. Okay, but the Dallas run defense has shown up the last 3 games, and this one holding Kareem Hunt to 58 yards, Patrick Mahomes to 30 yards, and Pacheco, who we really didn't expect much from. We knew he was going to come in a little bit, only had 3 carries, so wasn't really a factor in this game at all. He also had 2 receptions. This Dallas defense is about to get a step up because Jerry Jones announced that Trayvon Diggs entered the practice window and is now available to play next Sunday.
So
So
they've
Dallas
opened
will,
up the 21-day window.
yep, and he will be ready to go Sunday again. I mean, sorry, against the Lions come Thursday. And this is going to be another great game, but this Dallas defense is starting to impress. I still think the secondary needs work. It's just missing consistency. If they can get on path with Trayvon Diggs back and this defense comes alive, it really didn't shut down Kansas City. I'm going to be one who said it. I'm going to say it. Thank you to the ref who called that pass interference. That shouldn't have been. That's what put Dallas
Oh
in
my!
the. It shouldn't have been. I'm here
You're
live
talking?
on
Are you
Facebook.
talking the OPI on Worthy? Or are you talking one of the DPIs?
DPI.
Okay, I'm happy you said because I'm going to let you finish and then
Yeah, no,
soliloquy it
it
up.
wasn't. Look, it wasn't pass interference, but that's what put Dallas in the position really to get the field goal. Mike.
I'm so glad you said something about the officiating because I thought these guys, I'll be blunt, they sucked. And, and it's not just this game, it's not just this day, this whole freaking season, the officiating has sucked. And by the way, to your point on the Cowboy defense, the Chiefs ran the ball for 119 yards.
Yeah, but not one player got over 60 yards on the ground.
Oh no,
That's
no,
what
no.
I'm
I'm just
saying.
talking about as a team they ran for. So
Yeah, as a team giving up 119, but you're considering that over 5 players, that's
it,
that's acceptable in
so,
my eyes.
so back to the
Sorry,
zebras.
sorry, sorry,
No,
sorry.
no, it's okay. I just wanted to make the point because I'm looking
Yep.
at the number and I'm like, oh, that's not too bad. It's not when it's not. We've got to allow these guys to play a little bit. And I'm not going to sit here and say the officials are the reason the Chiefs lost. I'm not going to make the excuse for the Chiefs, but I am going to say this: the officials had an impact on why the Chiefs lost this game. You talked about a couple of DPs. The offensive pass interference on Xavier
That
Worthy. Are we kidding? The dude's
nah, that
running a
was
route. He's not setting a pick. He's not standing there. He's running. He doesn't push off or anything. By the way, you want to talk about push off? George Pickens at the top of every route's pushing off. as is CeeDee Lamb. So if you're gonna be consistent. But you're just gonna call bull for the sake of calling bull. And I'm not even a Chiefs fan complaining about this.
Yeah.
Like penalties for the Chiefs were 10 for 119 yards.
You can't do that on any team.
Meanwhile, the Cowboys 7 for 50. I shouldn't know the official's name. And you're calling 17. By the way, 17 accepted penalties. We're not even talking about the ones that got declined.
Right, and or picked up.
Right. So it's not just this game, it's this whole season. These officials suck, but I blame the NFL because the NFL rules now suck. You can't play defense in this league anymore. It was funny. I was having this conversation probably during this game. If you poke a receiver, it's a penalty. You touch the quarterback. You know, it's like when the big bad wolf goes to the Three Little Pigs, has a puff say, blows the house down. They'd call a penalty on that. I'm sick of it, NFL. So, Raj, while you're sitting in your comfy chair, doing whatever it is you do, these guys have too much power and impact over these games. And I'm not even going to suggest about gambling or whatnot, but we got to do something to help defenses out.
And that, Mike, just want to touch on something you just said.
Sure.
Uh, Here comes the question that's going to be, and you just said it, it's not about gambling. We don't know that anymore because of so many different scandals that are happening. You know, we don't know. And every time something doesn't happen, now the way everybody's looking at it, because FanDuel, DraftKings, MGM, Better, whatever, are on every other commercial, even when football or any sports are not on TV,
Mm-hmm.
it's on. Okay. And there's no way you're not going to be able to convince me, Kareem Hunt was supposed to 60 was minus 225, but he got 58. That's what people are now gonna think, and that's a problem.
Yep.
Because before this, nobody would think that. Nobody would even consider it. It would be, oh, he had a bad day. Now everyone's thinking, oh, wait, how much is he getting as a kickback? But that's not the case here. I'm just saying what everyone is now going to be assuming. Mike?
Yeah. So next week, as you mentioned, the Cowboys will go to Detroit, play the Lions. That'll be Thursday night. The Chiefs will host the Houston Texans on Sunday Night Football. And that game might have a lot of impact playoff position wise.
Gonna be a lot of fun. CJ Stroud will be back this weekend to play.
Yep, he's playing
So
today.
yeah. So yeah, I hope they protect him because I want to see that game.
That's Sunday night. So
Yeah.
speaking of night games and quarterbacks returning, the Bengals decided to play an old Jimi Hendrix tune this week. And they said, hey, Joe Burrow returns for the Bengals, and magically the Bengals beat the Ravens by a score of 32-14. Joe Burrow, how's this for a return? 24 of 46, 261 and 2 touchdowns. Hey, Joe, you were missed. You're going to throw up 46 times.
Look, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to apologize to Mr. Joe Burrow. I am sorry for what I said, saying there was no reason to bring you back. Clearly, I was truly wrong. I was saying at what cost, though? Like, God forbid you got injured again.
Yep.
But I apologize for that. and I enjoyed watching you play. But I agree with Mike. Hi, welcome back. Go throw the ball 50 times today. You know, we're going to prove that leg is good. Let me tell you, anytime that man ran a little bit, I held my breath, saying, God, no. But he had a good return, and definitely his BFF enjoyed having him back as he had 14 targets, ending up with 7 receptions for 110 yards. So, welcome back, Joe Burrow, and not to slump out the running game, Chase Brown with 78 yards and Samaje Perine with 39.
Flip it to the Ravens. Lamar, 17, 32, 246 and a pick. Derrick Henry had 60 yards rushing and a touchdown. Isaiah Likely, 5 catches, 95 yards. The Ravens go to 6-6. The Cincinnati, we need to have a quick chat here. If this stupid defense, which forced 5 turnovers the other night, decided to show up at all against the Jets or the Bears or another team, we're talking about a team that right now could be 6-6 and would be tied for first place. Instead, you're still 2 games back, and now you're getting Burrow back, and all of a sudden, hey, the AFC North is still in play for a 4-8 Bengals team because neither the Ravens nor the Steelers want it.
Yeah. It, I could not believe the really poor showing of Lamar Jackson here. Um, this was a game that you would think would be primed for a big time, Ravens beatdown here. I mean, no offense to Joe Burrow coming
Yep.
back, but I mean, this was a prime offensive game against a defense that is ranked in the bottom
They're
of the
32nd
league.
yards allowed.
So, I mean, you got to give a hats off to the Bengals defense for showing up and shutting down, the one of the most potential best offenses in football with one of the most elite quarterbacks in the game as well.
Yeah, this is not a good one for the Ravens. I don't know if this was they were looking past the Bengals because of who they play next week, but you never look past the divisional opponent. And this was not a good showing for Lamar. And here's the other thing. I think Lamar I said through 46 times. That's not a recipe for success for the Ravens. They've got to run the football. That is what's going to help them. Whether it's Derrick Henry, Keaton Mitchell, who had a nice appearance, or Lamar himself, they need to get back to running the rock because that's what they're built on. They're built on running the football, and then they'll take their shots with Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins, who caught his 1,000th catch on Thursday night. So congrats to
Yeah.
up. Mark Andrews, who's come alive, but that's what the Ravens have to do. But this is a huge one for Cincinnati, staying alive. They're still clinging to life.
In that AFC North. I mean, this is a division that should have two teams that basically 10 wins apiece already. Should have been.
This is a division. This division should be basically over. The Steelers had the perfect opportunity with Joe Burrow out and with Lamar Jackson out to do
Hmm.
something. And here we are entering today. The Steelers and Ravens are basically tied for the division lead.
Yep. And it's not a flip of the coin because we still got, 7 games left. I mean, 6 games left in this season. Wow. God, that was fast. And this is the point where it all gets exciting. I mean, but between the AFC North, the NFC North, I don't know which one is going to be closer.
Well, yeah, they've all got three teams involved. Now, I'll say this: the Ravens and Steelers haven't played each other yet. They'll play each other for the first time next week. But oh boy, it is a street fight in those divisions. Welcome back, Joe Burrow. The
Yeah,
Bengals will play the Bills next week,
I know it's going to be
and
a fun game.
that's a very winnable game for the Bengals. This Bills defense has not been good.
No, the Bills' defense has not been good, but the offense did get stronger with the signing of Braden Cooks now to Buffalo. This gives Allen, another weapon. It'll take a good week or two, but you'll see a package in there for him today.
Will they have a package for Keon Coleman if he's active? Who knows? We'll
Dum
talk about the
dum
Bills game
dum.
in a little bit as
Yep.
they do play the Steelers. Then we had the Black Friday game,
Mm. Oh,
and
it was black, all right.
it's the Bears beat the Eagles by a score of 24-15. First and foremost, thank you, the Bears, for covering the spread.
Thank you to the Bears for just finally proving that the tush push can be defeated. Thank you to the Bears.
Caleb Williams, 17-36, 154 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Kyle Kyle Monanagi, the rookie running back from Rutgers, 22 carries, 130 yards, and a touchdown. DeAndre Swift as well had a touchdown, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
18
3 yard run.
125. Yeah, 18 for 125 and a touchdown. The
Cole
Bears
Komet,
ran for 281 yards on the ground.
Cole Komet, 3 catches, 36 yards, and a touchdown. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, 19-34, 232 touchdowns and a pick. Saquon, 13 carries, 56 yards. AJ Brown, what's up? 10 catches, a buck 32, and 2 touches. The Bears go to 9-3. The Eagles to 8-4. And look, I'll give the Bears their credit here. We questioned it. When is the run going to end? Well, they go into Philly and get a really nice win here.
The Bears not only showed up, they rained on the Eagles parade. The Eagles, yeah, they lost to Dallas and that was embarrassing, for the Eagles. They had a chance to make up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed up worse than what they put up against Dallas. There is no way you can't tell me Jalen Hurts isn't injured. You cannot explain to me that Saquon Barkley is not playing injured, as he has not only well, the running game was pretty much out of it for Philadelphia by the end of the first quarter because they were down so much. But the only real offense of anything was AJ Brown. This so-called Eagles super team is starting to slowly, quote unquote, slide back into its fortress of solitude.
This offense is getting offensive to watch. And they just. This offense was built around Saquon and then play action. Saquon can't have 13 carries in a game. I'm sorry, that can't be the way this goes. I just told you Lamar Jackson's not to drop back 40 times and throw it around. Jalen Hurts isn't that guy either. And I don't know if this is just missing Kellen Moore a lot I don't know what this is on offense, but it isn't good enough. And this is an Eagle team, and there's someone out there who's going to sit there and go, "Well, they'll turn it around come January." Well, first things first, you got to get to January because with the way this is going and the way the Cowboys are playing, the Cowboys can overtake the Philadelphia Eagles at some point. The Eagles they don't look like, I don't want to say they don't look like the team last year. They don't look like the team anywhere close to what they were a year ago. And I hate to sound like a Philly fan because I'm that's the last thing I want to be. There needs to be a change, whether it's the offensive coordinator, whether it's the even the head coach. I'm sick of Sirianni and his smug face. You're the coach. Do something. This offense is not worthwhile right now. So go out and figure this thing out. Otherwise, you're not going to repeat as Super Bowl champions. And by the way, Ben Johnson, 9-3. Listen, we talk about Vrabel a lot and the job he's done in New England. Ben Johnson, you're right there with him for Coach of the Year right now. Caleb looks good. The defense has played very well for the Bears. They're getting turnovers. Oh man, Bears are not.
Here's
Who had Bears
sorry.
at 9-3?
I look, I had the Bears being competitive and being above 500. I did not have them at 9-3 at any point in any of my early predictions. But I had them being very
Yeah, I
competitive.
thought they'd be competitive, not 9-3. The Bears next week will go to Lambeau.
It's gonna be a great game.
That'll be your 425 Fox game.
That should be flexed. No, the next Sunday night is actually good already. So,
And then next Monday night, the Eagles will go to Los Angeles to play the Chargers.
oof. Now the Chargers have, slumped a little bit as every year at this same point they have. Let's see if this, today will be a change. We'll get into that in a little while. Could be a change for Herbert and the Chargers.
I mean, if you look, here's the remaining schedule for the Philadelphia Eagles. At the Chargers,
Hard game.
they'll host the Raiders.
Should win.
The Eagles haven't played the Commanders yet. Have you realized that?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they don't. They played. They're the. Bleh, excuse me. They're the one NFC team that they play like two out of the next three.
Yeah, they go to Washington, then they go to Buffalo, and then
Yeah.
they get Washington again.
Yep. That is a tough stretch. Dallas is in the middle of this tough stretch right now. So
Oh, yeah. So we'll see how the Eagles, if they could turn this around. But the Bears at 9-3. Damn.
yeah.
Speaking of an NFC North team, Minnesota Vikings, they're going to Seattle today to play the Seahawks. It'll not be J.J. McCarthy starting. It'll be Max Broshmer, a undrafted free agent from the University of Minnesota. And so
Homeschool boy. Kind of like not Donnie Vincenzo, the New York Giants quarterback guy.
Tommy DeVito,
Yeah, Tommy DeVito, him, yes.
who's now in New England.
Right.
I mean, and the Vikings will be playing the Seattle Seahawks, led by Sam Darnold. I think the question on everyone's mind is, Do the Vikings regret letting Sam Darnold walk?
Let me tell you, I think it goes more than that. I think it's why did they let Kirk Cousins go? And you know how much I detest Kirk Cousins.
American
But
hero,
I
that
think
Kirk Cousins.
I can't stand him. Um, they let him go and draft JJ McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
But you got Sam Darnold stepped in. And Sam Darnold always, when he gets to a new team, goes in hot his first couple of seasons. And there was something there with him, Jefferson, Addison, and Hopkins last year. They just came up short, you know, and you let him go with the hopes your rookie quarterback to step in, and he's played what now? 2 games, 3 games, and who knows if he's going to play, how long the concussion protocol he's going to be in for. So I think Sam Darnold is going to step up, considering this is in Seattle. It's going to be hard for Minnesota to get anything done. And Sam Darnold's going to have a comfortable day. Could have one of the better days in the fantasy world, too.
Yeah, the Vikings, they went in, they thought JJ McCarthy could be their guy. Let Sam walk. Sam has played really well in Seattle. McCarthy, the learning curve has not been there. He hasn't been good. And here's the frustrating part if you're a Viking fan. You have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson. And you don't have a passing game right now. So they're going to be one of these teams over the offseason. They're going to have to add a veteran quarterback.
And that sounds so ridiculous because they had 2 of them.
Yeah, and you let them both. They'll both go. By the way, they could still reunite with Kirk Cousins because the Falcons have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins will get the start for the rest of the season with Michael Penix down. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah,
But this Minnesota team is so effing screwed up. That was a little bit of censored for our patch man.
you're welcome, Patch. All right. Speaking of quarterbacks, got a couple of banged up ones who look like they're going to play today. Daniel Jones apparently is dealing with a leg issue,
Calf, yes.
and Baker Mayfield is dealing with a left shoulder sprain. But according to Todd Bowles, he should be good to go. And the Bucks within themselves are getting healthy because they should also be getting Bucky Irving back today. So,
Yes.
but speaking of Daniel Jones and the Colts, they have a huge one this afternoon. They host the Texans for the first time this year.
The Houston Texans, you know, the offense we knew was going to be together, but this defense has really impressed. Um, this will be a hard fought game. This is more Daniel Jones versus the defense than anything, in my opinion. Um, Not to take anything away from Daniel Jones for the season he's had, again, yada yada yada. He's beyond impressed. I think this is going to be his hardest fought game of the year. And I don't think it's going to go as good as a lot of people think. I think they will be out with Tyler Warren is currently questionable. He's a game time. He was down with food poisoning or whatnot. So do not know if he's going to be in. And teams have stopped Jonathan Taylor over the last few weeks of getting into the end zone. I know because I lost on those 2 weeks. Um, I think a lot of it has to also go on Jonathan Taylor today. I know he's done it all, but you can't have Daniel Jones passing on this defense with Derek Stingley Jr., who is probably one of the best cover corners in football today.
According to Tom Pelissero, NFL Network, Tyler Warren questionable because of an illness. They're going to monitor him this morning, but all indications are he will play.
Okay, so I mean, if they have him even at let's say 50%, he plays some packages, it'll help draw defense a little bit, but you're not having 100% your tight end to really go right now.
Yeah, so and I'm with you. This Texan defense, after the job they did on Josh Allen last week,
Oh, yes.
oh boy. And CJ Stroud coming back, big thing could be coming for the Texans.
It's good to see CJ Stroud back out of that concussion. I mean, which was a very scary hit.
Yeah, very
We'll,
scary.
and this Colts defense is not weak. It's a
No,
good defense. It's a good defense. So it's really going to be a nice battle of the quarterbacks today. So it's going to be a fun watch.
I don't know about you, but down here I get it on TV. I mean, the one.
I haven't looked at my scramble schedule yet.
Okay. All right. We also get the Rams and the Panthers. The Rams right now, the one seed in the NFC. The Panthers will have another opportunity with a win and a Bucks loss to overtake them for first place in the NFC South. But Bryce Young missed a huge opportunity on Monday night. So we got that. We got the Bills and the Steelers. You want to talk about a big game? That's it in the AFC.
This is pretty much the last test for Buffalo. If they cannot beat Pittsburgh, are we saying Buffalo's done? I mean, yes, they went out and grabbed Braden Cooks to help out with this passing game, to give Josh Allen another target, a more reliable one who can catch, who's played in the cold because he was in New England. And this is a shout out to all my card dealers, Braden Cooks 99. But Aaron Rodgers will be playing. We don't know what he's going to be like with that hand fracture, even though it's a non-throwing hand. So this has to be a Bills win. They cannot afford to lose this game.
If you look at the Bills' remaining schedule, it's today in Pittsburgh. Next week it's against Cincinnati. Then
Should be
it's
a
at
win.
then it's at New England,
No, gonna lose.
at Cleveland,
Gonna be close.
and then Philly and the Jets, both at home.
They
But
should win the last two games.
it's not going to be easy.
No, I
And
mean that you got some tough defenses to go through in that stretch.
and I don't know if I said it here or if I've said it on Wishbone. If Josh Allen isn't Superman, they don't win.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the problem with that. And
Excuse me.
Josh is fantastic, but he needs some help. This week, they're going to have to run the ball a little, try to run the ball a little bit with James Cook. We'll see if Dalton Kincaid is back this week. I'm not sure. That would be a huge get back in the passing game.
Also
But,
in the run blocking game,
and
he's
run
been great in
blocking
that for
too.
James Cook.
But they're also going to be down their top two tackles today. Deion Dawkins is out. Spencer Brown is going to be out. But you're going up against a Steeler defense that hasn't looked great most of the year. But neither is the Bills defense. So I don't even know what to expect.
Respectively, no offense to the Buffalo fans, they do not look like a 7-4 team.
And here's the thing, and I think these two teams are in the same category, where it's not, maybe they don't want to make changes, but it's time for a little bit of a change. The Bills with McDermott and the Steelers with Tomlin. because
And sorry, good.
no, the Steelers are starting to lose games where back in the day they win. That game last week in Chicago, I don't care that it's Mason Rudolph. The Steelers defense needed to win that game, and they knew it going in, and they couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, no, we've talked all season that this is the end of the Tomlin era, and it's becoming more prevalent. This is now Aaron Rodgers putting him back in with one hand. I mean, yeah, it's again not the throwing hand, but still, you get hit in that hand, it's gonna affect you physically.
Yep.
But to cut a long story short, this is the Tomlin era is time to go. It's failing. When something finally fails, you stick a fork in it and it's done. Sorry. No offense to Mike Tomlin, one of the best coaches in Steelers history.
Might just be time for a change of scenery.
Yeah,
Or he might
absolutely.
want to take a year off and then reevaluate. I don't know. But
Right.
it's time for some change in Pittsburgh. Now, went over the Bills. Let's just do the Steelers quickly. Bills today, in Baltimore next week. Then on December 15th,
Okay.
they host the Dolphins. By the way, just for
As much as I want to say that should be an easy win, it's not. With Don Amici, go Don Amici, go trade some places.
let me say this. The Dolphins have made the In the Hunt graphic on TV.
Yeah.
Everyone should fear for their lives in the AFC. Then they go to Detroit, to Cleveland, and then they end it week 18, Steelers Ravens in Pittsburgh.
And that could be for a final wild card spot.
Could be for the AFC North.
That too. I mean,
Uh,
that too. But there are a couple divisions where it's going to get very interesting with certain divisions having three teams battling it out.
yeah. And then tonight we got the Broncos and the Commanders. Once again, no
Well,
Jaden Daniels, but Terry McLaurin is back for the Commanders. And the Broncos will be getting Patrick Surtain back.
that's so big for this Denver team. Hats off to where Bo Nix standing up to everybody and saying he wasn't going to have a good sophomore year. He has beyond impressed. What a season he's had. Now you get back your best secondary piece. And frankly, it'll take him a little bit to shake off the little bit of rust. But if you do the preseason rankings, Patrick Surtain is one of the top five corners in football. Just makes this Denver team even stronger and really puts them, as the question mark, are they going to be one to challenge the Colts? It's going to be as we know what the NFC is bringing, I think the AFC is going to be a more interesting ending.
I think we know that to that point, like the top of the NFC, like we know the Rams are really good. We know the
Hmm.
Seahawks are really good.
Yep.
Philly, we don't know. The Packers and Bears are kind of in that same middle ground too. And the AFC, it's like there really isn't that elite team right now.
No, and that's what I'm saying. It's going to
Outside of
come
the New
down.
England Patriots. Sorry about that.
Drake. Oh, sorry, Drake May. Yes, he does deserve a little bit of an apology there. But no, I think the AFC is going to be more of a interesting storyline getting to the Super Bowl than the NFC because we know what the NFC is going to be. And, it's hard to decide
Here in
on which way
Washington.
it's
So,
going to go.
yeah, so we'll see what happens tonight. Washington, Denver. Huge game for Denver as they look to keep it going in the AFC West. But kind of upset we can't get the Bo Nix Jane Daniels matchup.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see, but again, now you look at Washington in the question mark of Cincinnati Bengals. Do you put Jaden Daniels back in at any point this season? Or do you say, hey, look, forget it. We'll get him more coverage for next year. Let's not risk a further injury that's gonna keep him out next season.
Yeah, I think if you're the Commanders, I think that's where you're going to have to lean. Where we're not going to make the playoffs. We already know what he is from last year.
Right.
So, yeah, play Mariota the rest of the year and you go from there. Because I think it's different from like the situation the Giants are in with Dart.
Hmm.
Dart has to play because he's a rookie. Jane Daniels is a rookie, second year.
Right.
You know, I think the upsetting thing, if you're a Commanders fan, is you had so much hope and injuries just destroyed your season. Whether it be the
And
McLaurin stuff or Daniels or whoever.
I feel like it's every look, and this is coming from a Dallas fan. I feel like over the last decade, it's always, oh, Washington's going to be this, Washington's going to be that, Washington, and every year it fails. Now, yes, McLaurin and sorry, see what happened to Alex Smith, of course, you know, and but you look at the careers of RG3, gone because fractured ankle. They did the same thing. Oh God, shoot me! I can't think of his name right now.
What years?
Before RG,
For RG3. So you're talking like two that's or you're talking about like Theismann.
no, 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 way ahead of Theismann. Whatever. That being said, Washington does. I'm sorry, Washington. There's a reason why I do not know all your stuff. Um, Washington has a bad track history of ruining first round quarterbacks because they play them too much after they've already sustained an injury.
Mm.
That's why I point out the RG3 case because he had already had that sprained ankle, but they kept him in. And then on almost the very next play is when that ankle snapped. And everybody was like, are you kidding? Yeah, it was like the Booby Miles from Friday Night Lights is the Washington Redskins with quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah, so we'll see what happens there. And then Monday night we got the Patriots and the Giants in what should be
I,
an epic proportion of a Monday night.
go Pats. I never thought I'd say that, but go Pats.
Go Patches.
Go Patches, yes. Patches or Houlihan.
Patches O'Houlihan, the five D's of dodgeball.
Dodge, Dick. Dodge, Dick. Dodge.
Oh, all right.
Oh, God,
All
okay.
right. That'll
All right. Yeah, we'll
Mark,
end on a nice
who's
note.
before we can end this or get canceled or whatnot, who's your fantasy player of the day?
Oh, shit. Oh, okay. Now we can go. Please, family, note this is an explicit last 3 minutes. My fantasy player of the day, I have already mentioned it earlier, will be Sam Darnold. I think he's gonna have the day he deserves to show what Minnesota missed out on.
I too will go quarterback. Justin Herbert. Light up the Raiders today, my friend.
I want to see Lad McConkey get in. Not that I have him in anything. He has just been he started off so great and now it's fallen into that. I hate to say it like this and don't shun me for it. That Cooper Cup stage where he was so up and now he's in the middle. Because
They
ah
just have so the bringing back of Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston makes
yeah,
those random appearances. It's yeah.
I just would like to see Lad McConkey get back on track.
I'm with you, and I do have him in a fantasy league.
Yeah, I don't. I have no other purpose than just to see him get back on track. That's it.
All right. That'll do for the week 13 edition Sunday Sideline Report. Check us out every Sunday morning, right around 10 a.m., right here on the SAN YouTube channel. So like, comment, subscribe. Go to the website, thesportsinsanitynetwork.com, for great blogs, vlogs, planes, trains, and automobiles. Follow us on the socials. Twitter, S Insanity Real, Facebook, The Sports Insanity Network. The LDAPS guy. Mike. We'll talk to you all again next week. Enjoy week 13, everybody.